Okay, cool. So we're streaming. Let me hop on Twitter real quick. I'll put out there that we're live, and then we'll go ahead and start recording here in just a minute.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I got the notification.
Man, I miss Ed.
You say Edge?
You miss what?
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie, yeah. I mean, who doesn't,
gosh,
dude?
Sebastian, don't start on whole Eddie, dude. You're gonna get me into my feels. You're gonna get me into like a sad, somber mood the entire podcast. I'm just gonna be reminiscent.
I just thought about how 2 days ago it's May 14th.
Yeah, he just had his It was the anniversary of his when he passed.
Then I watched him earlier in that tag match on the throwback. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that tomorrow. Survivor Series 02, right? That's the show we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I might not be able to do the recap then if the recording's gonna be done tomorrow afternoon.
Well, technically we could do it. I mean, we could do it Sunday. I was just like, if
Sunday I probably close again. That's the thing is because I'm gonna be gone for the whole week. They're scheduling me to close Sunday through Tuesday, and then Wednesday I work morning.
Yeah, unfortunately, you might have to sit it out. I don't know, man.
It's whatever, as long as we don't sit out the 100th episode.
Yeah, no, we're gonna handle that tonight. We're gonna figure that out either tonight or tomorrow, at the very least. Gosh, I wish we had that custom URL, man. I want that custom URL so bad.
Hey, whoever's on the stream, man, y'all should like hit the subscribe and share.
Yeah, man.
Like help us get 100 subscribes.
Help us out, man. Come on now, help us out. This is the first time that we're going live before we even start recording. They're gonna hear us do the intro and everything. This is cool. Y'all getting behind the scenes look over here. How much you want to bet Colin's one of the people? Is that you, Colin?
Colin, is that you?
Colin's always.
If it is,
he's always so supportive, dude. He still is so supportive.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I actually have the stream on my phone as we're talking. So I am also going to be interacting with anyone that decides to join.
Okay, I was like, I thought you were just trying to just artificially inflate our numbers. No. Everybody hop on our YouTube really quick. Make it look like people care about the show. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. All right, so let me share this with the
Twitter.
I just put it out there with Twitter, but now I'm gonna throw it in the group chat that we're a part of. That's like super cool, and they share everybody's stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Follows. Okay. Good. All right, so that's done. I think that is it, man. I'll go ahead and minimize this. Go ahead and get that's in the background. Nice. All right, so we'll do a sound check. Vince, let me hear you say check 1 2.
Check 1 2. Check.
I'm gonna turn you up. Yeah, you're at 70%. That's probably why you were so quiet.
Okay. It's because I use my other mic. That's why.
That's probably it. Sebastian?
Oh my God.
All right.
Whoever had that just made their profile picture AEW.
That is very good. All right, man. So, all right. I think we are good to go, man. Give it a second here. We'll go ahead and you guys good to record?
Yep.
All right.
I think I'm out. No.
Sebastian's done.
I tweeted the link too to the live stream, so
nice.
They can go ahead and do that too.
Sweet. Okay, we're recording in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart. Best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey, folks, welcome to the SmackDown podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE, NXT, and AEW recaps, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. Like always, it's Kyle here. Joining us today, we've got Vince and Sebastian on the stream. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, y'all?
Just watched some people left the SmackDown.
Oh my god. Damn it, Sebastian. You came in with the lowest of energy, man. Like, damn.
I think he just woke up his neighbors, man. Oh my god, Sebastian.
Probably.
That's what I get for telling Sebastian to ramp up the energy every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
You guys.
I mean, it was.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You first, Vince. You first, man.
Oh, well, I mean, I was going to say that we are a wrestling podcast. You're a one-stop shop for all your wrestling news, recaps, pay-per-view predictions.
Vince, we just told him this.
I just, for the one person that just came in. For the one person that just came in. Just in case it didn't know.
Welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, man, let's just start talking about the show.
All right, hold on, really quick. Hold on. We'll get the plugs out of the way. Listen, you guys, we are a pro wrestling podcast. If you're joining us and you're brand new, consider a like and subscribe. You can find us on Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Of course, we are live streaming over on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe over there. We are on the road to 100 subscribers to get a custom URL. Also, we're very active on Twitter for the most part. At least I am. I know you guys are very active. Hit us up at the SmackDown Pod, myself at the Kai Tai Show. Vince is at SES Vince, and Sebastian is at WrestlingFan_32. Of course, if you missed any of that, it's in the ticker on YouTube or it's in the description But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We're here to talk about SmackDown, man. What'd you guys think about SmackDown tonight?
Oh, I love the show. I thought it was really good.
Yeah?
I thought it was fun. It was maybe like a match or two, a segment or two that I didn't quite care for, but other than that, I thought like it was a solid show. Helped build Survivor Series, and it helped set up some matches, which is all you can ask for with 1 week remaining.
A segment or two you didn't care for. Way to really downplay the open, because that open, oh my god, I was like, dude, I'm about to go to SmackDown, and is this what I have to? Because this is building for a match at TLC in December, so I am not looking forward to the Corbin and Reigns segments, hyping up their dog collar match, like that is.
No, it's gonna be TLC, man.
Some people were saying, I seen a lot of people online on Twitter saying that the Canelo Hell match is going to make a return.
Oh god, I hope so. I mean, if you're going to be bad, just be really bad.
No.
No, man. How about we have some good? Let's have a change of pace and have some good.
Yeah, man. We got an unveiling of a new title. We got introduced to Scotty. Y'all saw Scotty, right? Like,
was that the mascot?
No, Scotty, the fan in the front row with the giant white sign that just says Scotty. Like, he was present the whole show, man. I couldn't stop looking from the open of the show to the close of the show. Just this big old boy with a red shirt on. He got a giant white sign that says Scotty, and he made sure to show it like for the entire recording of SmackDown. Like, he never changed it up or nothing, man. Oh,
no, I actually didn't even notice that, dude. Like, I was just focusing. Like, okay, it's kind of hard to notice a big Scotty sign when Baron Corbin makes the most elaborate Triple H entrance ever, and then brings out a mascot dog for his
Corbin
card
segue.
of doom. Yeah. Like, it was.
Yeah, wait. I was like, dude, we might see those guys drop. He had the smallest fellas in the front. And the ramp is a downward slope. That is not the most efficient use of energy right there.
I did like the entrance.
He got the Charlotte Flair treatment. Because that's how Charlotte makes her WrestleMania entrances, man. A permanent thing. Just the WWE Performance Center guys. That's your role. SmackDown. Carry Corbin to the ring. And then get the F off the TV.
I mean, you get a paycheck.
Hey, you do get a paycheck, man. Oh man, I was dreading talking about this segment. Yeah, honestly,
No,
so
I mean,
no, like for
can we
real.
just like skip it though? Because it was essentially just like the same stuff he was saying last week. He was just
Right.
calling out Roman Reigns. It was like another mockery of his whole big dog nickname. He brought out a mascot. He was.
This
I don't know. Like I don't know what the setup is for this match. I don't know why they're doing it.
this segment was so bad. The segment alone, if you were to grade the show, pulls the show back a full letter grade. Like you could have had an A show, and this segment alone drug it down to a B. Like that's how it's
B minus maybe.
yeah. but yeah, you're right.
What's real frustrating is if you watch the King of the Ring, we know that Corbin can be a real good, effective heel. But why do we get this overdone, corny, just dumb creative? I mean, I don't.
I mean, without like spiraling too out of control and off topic, when was the last King of the Ring gimmick change that's actually successfully worked that isn't King Booker? Even the last one before that was Wade Barrett, and when he was doing Bad News Barrett, that was like the best thing ever. And they did King Barrett, and it was lame.
Done.
Well, I don't have a problem with how he's doing the King of the Ring. It's just his lines. Like, why are we out here having a Chihuahua bark?
Who's
like him having the crown and stuff? Don't bother.
Yeah, the dubbing of the Chihuahua over Roman's music was way overdone. I was like, oh, if I was not paid to watch, I'm not. What am I talking about? I'm not paid to watch this crap. Like, what am I even talking?
We don't get paid for this.
When are we
Ashley.
getting? No, I was like, if I wasn't obligated to watch this, like, I would definitely be in my phone or on Call of Duty or anything else, man.
Yeah,
but we did get the reveal
big
of
thing
the Survivor team, though. The Survivor Series team. Was that previously revealed, or was that unveiled?
It was not.
I think they did that on Twitter. Yeah,
that was on Twitter at first. Okay. Well, so for the television crowd, for not the hardcore audience, but for the casual audience, it was revealed that the SmackDown Survivor Series team is comprised of Mustafa Ali. He got his name back, folks.
Yes.
Mustafa Ali, Shorty G, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. Yeah, I know, right? Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin. Honestly, I would almost rather it had been Chad Gable got his name back over Mustafa Ali, because Ali kind of grew on me. Ali did kind of grow on me. I mean, I felt disrespected, not me personally, but I felt, I was like, it's terrible you take away his name. But given the two names that we have to hear on air, I kind of would rather hear Chad Gable more than Shorty G.
Personally, obviously, I'm biased being a Chicago guy.
He's a Chicago guy, man. Your voice doesn't matter, man.
Yes,
get
it does.
Here.
Okay,
you are super biased. You are so biased, man.
Yes, and I admit that. But between the two guys, if either between these two guys, who has the most potential to be main event worthy? That's Mustafa Ali. And if you give him a proper good name,
who's held championship gold? Who's held gold?
Oh no, that was Chad Gable. This is Shorty G. Two different people. Two different people, man. Two different characters. Just like the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, two different characters, two different things.
So who's the champion between the Fiend and Bray Wyatt then?
They share custody of the belt on weekends. So Bray Wyatt. So that's the way Bray Wyatt gets it throughout the week, and then on the weekends is when the Fiend gets it for like Saturday and Sundays for pay-per-views. That's how it works. They have a shared custody.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Hey man, dude, I'm just trying to lighten up the mood because this was a pretty bad segment. The only thing it really kind of did was set up Rudolph versus Ali and Gable, and if Rudolph won, they'd take their spots on the team.
Right. Yeah. And and that's exactly what is set up. But we did miss one key factor is amongst all the cringy stuff, we got the Roman Reigns mascot dog that unfortunately did not pay off. Like, we didn't get an unveiling of who it is. I
wanted to see Roman spear him.
Yeah, for a moment there, I was like, maybe that's Roman, but I was like, no, because the Baron Corbin was having the dog kind of like do embarrassing and degrading things. I was like, nah, Roman's character wouldn't do that. So
No.
yeah. Maybe later on though. Maybe later on, if like the mascot becomes a reoccurring theme, which he's likely to do at some point. Roman's oh, come on now. This is WWE we're talking about. They like to take a stupid joke and cram it down our throat for like 3 months straight. That dog's likely to have a damn match. I mean, look, they did the same thing with the bunny and freaking Adam Rose. The bunny mascot ended up in a damn match. You know what I mean? So that dog's going to get reoccurring like freaking TV time, which is kind of sad if you think about it, because that mascot's going to get more TV time than some of the damn like main or full-time roster members. It's terrible.
Freaking Apollo Crews and Lucha House Party haven't been featured regularly on SmackDown except for doing run-ins, and they're not even in like the opening silhouette of the show. They're not even included in that.
That's what you think. That's what you think. They're actually splitting their rotation for the dog uniform. I mean, they're on.
Yes. To quote Bray Wyatt, yes.
I mean, it's a rotation. That's like it's going to be Kalisto. I mean, it was Apollo tonight.
Tonight they just looked like they were there to advertise their T-shirt designs. You know what I'm saying? Like, apparently all these wrestlers wear their own merchandise in the downtime in the backstage, because every wrestler that came out to run off the NXT roster was all wearing their WWE merch. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was funny. The match that we got though was like I said, like you said actually. Rudolph, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode taking on Shorty G and Mustafa Ali. We had a really good ending sequence in the match. Corbin tried to interfere a couple times, and Roman Reigns came down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roman Reigns came down to kind of even the odds, because Corbin was there ringside to cheer on the heels, while no one was there for G and Ali. So Roman came out, made his presence known. At some point, you had Corbin trying to hand the scepter off to one of the heels. He gets hit with a drive-by. The dog mascot runs off. Shorty G hits. I always forget the name of that rolling through German suplex that he does.
O'Connor roll. The O'Connor roll German suplex.
Yeah, so he hits the O'Connor roll, followed up with Ali, who was the legal man, hitting the 450 splash for the victory. They remain in the Survivor Series match, while Rudolph is sent with their tails between their legs, which I guess is appropriate for the segment, so that's the only reason I'm using that. Oh
my gosh.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. How am I supposed to follow the joint custody damn joke? Okay, come on now.
Hey, man, I try.
Hey, we did get, speaking of the joint custody of the title, we did get Firefly Funhouse to follow the match. Bray Wyatt, so this was a less traditional Firefly Funhouse. I've noticed they're not leaning as creatively into these, but this one was short and sweet. Nothing to complain here. Bray Wyatt puts on his magician's outfit, shows the red Universal title, says it doesn't look right, waves his magic wand. Bam! Blue title. Didn't see that coming.
No, I totally saw it a mile away. We were having the whole podcast had he won the Universal title and goes to SmackDown, like would they? If Seth was drafted to SmackDown, how would they change the title? You say completely title rebrand and like Batman Bigelow like Flames or something. No, I knew it was just going to be a blue title. It was so predictable. It's kind of lazy. It's not a bad looking title. I'm not knocking the title look wise. And like the presentation, the way they revealed it was very unique, and I liked it.
Yeah, go on.
The only thing, like I said, the only thing I don't like was that it was just a color palette swap. That's all it was.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Like you were saying in the chat before the show or during the show, it was kind of lazy. But I mean,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just.
you kind of were hoping that you were going to get a more original look. We were hoping we were going to get like the Eagle title or, Smoke and Skull or like some type of character themed belt, for the
I
Fiend.
just want the big gold belt back.
I don't. That's
No.
It's fine. It's
belt, man.
No, it's not. It's not. It reeks of WCW.
That's what I'm saying.
love-
Yeah, that's why Vince
I
will
love that
never
belt.
use that title again. That title will be a joke. At some point, it'll pop up in a joke segment, man, and they'll crap on that belt. Sorry, it has a good lineage. It has a very good lineage, but yeah, no.
I sure didn't treat it like a joke back in the mid-2000s when Triple H pretty much ran the company.
Yeah, but remember, they had two titles. They had the WWE Championship and they had the big gold belt, and it was treated the same way in more recent memory than the Universal and the WWE belt. Universal Champion was their big main player. The WWE Championship was held like a little bit more loosely, and that's how the big gold belt was. The big gold belt never felt like the main title, even when it was on the show. That's why when those belts were unified, the big gold belt design was done away with. Yeah.
I mean, personally, design-wise, I
Wait for
knew
us
they
to
were
just
going to
completely
switch
shit
it.
on Seb. Sorry, Seb.
I'm just saying, if you go back to like the mid-2000s, that the big gold belt normally main evented over the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah, but
what?
it was situational because it only lasted for a couple years. Because as soon as John Cena went over, the spinner title was the top title of all wrestling.
Yeah.
The spinner title was the top prize, and the big
Wasn't
gold
that
belt
so
was
cool? Wasn't that title
Yeah.
so cool, man?
A lot of people shit on the title.
Yo,
on the title.
me in my
here's the-
30s, I think it's so stupid. My 16, 17-year-old self, or however old I was, dude, that was like the coolest thing ever, man.
Exactly. There you go. Like, I
Need
thought
for
it was, like, the
Speed
coolest thing.
Underground was out. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah,
had cars
exactly.
with spinning rims. Like that was it, man. Little John was like on top of his game. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a different time, man. Different time.
No, but who wasn't on top of their game was Baron Corbin's mid-card of evil, because after the whole title reveal, they were shown backstage. Rudolph were both like livid, annoyed, and Baron Corbin basically said, "Don't worry, I'll fix it," and just ran off. But they never paid it off. So I thought they were gonna do something later on in
Yeah.
the show, but nothing came of it.
Yeah, you're right. I thought I had a slide for that, but apparently I don't. I just clicked
It's
ahead
okay.
to Gulak in the B team, and there with Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, you're
Yeah.
right. I mean, that was the segment that followed. You're right though. Why did they made it seem like, because they told Corbin go fix this, and they made it
Yeah.
seem like they were gonna do something, and
And they never did. They never did.
no, yeah, it was kind of like oh yeah, they just forgot about it. They just forgot about it altogether.
Maybe it'll pay off next week. Maybe it's one of those segments where it's like it takes a whole week to develop or pay off.
Well, what Survivor Series is a week from Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they do have the go home shows to change stuff up still. So you're right. Maybe it'll pay off. So
Speaking of payoff, this is a bad payoff. I'm looking at the thumbnail right now, and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at poor Drew Gulak. My whole thing, throughout this entire thing, I kept looking at Drew Gulak. I'm like, he deserves better. He deserves so much better.
thank you, Vince. Thank you, because Sebastian over here was like, well, he seems like he's got TV time, and I'm like, Sebastian, no, that's our former cruiserweight champion. All right, he's grizzled, and he's a veteran, and he's super good. And Sebastian's like, well, he's got the PowerPoint. He gets a pop for those slides. It's just like, God damn it,
Okay,
Sebastian.
I feel like drunk Cosmic rearing his ugly face because you're over here mocking Sebastian's accent now.
I mean, to be fair, that's what got Gulak over the first time. But
Yeah.
when I said that, I wasn't a vision god, whatever. I wasn't seeing him going with Braun Strowman for over a month now. I figured it would be like a 1-2 week thing. He'd move on to something else. But yeah,
He's
it's
addicted to just the heartache, man. Like, he comes.
He
Yeah, man.
wants beat.
Essentially, this was just basically Braun just like beating up 3 guys to look good.
He had to get his win
justify
back, man.
Yeah, he had to get his heat back. You know?
Yeah.
Gulak wanted these hands. That's all.
I'm telling you. Apparently, he stuck his finger in Strowman's face. Like, what do you expect, dude? Like,
Hey, man, that takes some balls, man. He's
I'm telling
ballsy. I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
it's like, let me show you what would happen if I replaced you in the Survivor Series match. You notice that he didn't lean fully into the zany PowerPoint presentation like how he normally does it. He kind of just introduced the graphic like
Right.
more. Oh God, it sounds so weird saying it, but just like more grounded. Like his character seemed a little bit more real this time, even though it was such a brief segment. I guess I don't know.
And here's the thing: the big issue that was having, not only was he like in the segment with Braun Strowman just to help like gas up Braun Strowman leading into his match with Tyson Fury. What I hated about it is that was like a year or a year and a half version of Drew Gulak that has since been like disappeared. Like a year and a half. That's what he was doing when he was paired up with Enzo and the Zoe Train. He became a completely different character. He was a more grizzled veteran kind of guy. He was a ruthless guy. He was a leader of the pack. He had his own stable in 205 Live. He was very reminiscent to like a Pete Dunne or William Regal in his prime. He was like legit. He was a legit guy. He was in NXT and putting on great matches, and he comes to SmackDown and reverts back to his previous old gimmick because that's the last thing Vince remembers. If you look at guys like the Hardys and the Dudleys, they came back and they went right back into their old gimmick before they left.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, you know what this reminds me of is when you're a kid and you have like a friend or a brother and you've got like, I don't know, like a bag full of action figures or Matchbox cars or whatever, and you both get to take turns picking out your own roster. I felt like Triple H and Vince got to do that with like 205 Live and NXT guys. And it was just like Vince McMahon just got the control over Gulak. Like while Triple H was able to, retain some of his NXT fellas, Vince was like, yeah, he's mine. And then, Vince obviously doesn't watch 205 Live or nothing, and he remembers like the gimmick he set up for him. Because that's what it really struck me as. Is Vince didn't know what Triple H did with Gulak on 205 Live or didn't know anything. Vince just remembers what he did when he had control and kind of just implemented that all over again. And that's what hurt the most. It was just because it really felt like, to the fan who watched the growth of Gulak from him wearing the King Arthur outfit in the Cruiserweight Classic to the Cruiserweight Championship. And it really felt like from that PowerPoint presentation to Prime Gulak, it was like all that time didn't matter. And he just went right back to square one. It felt probably more disheartening than when Seth wound up back on Raw and Brock Lesnar is champion again. And you're like, damn it, that's a year of undone work. At least Seth still can get like, expressions out of like a crowd. But like Gulak is stuck, man. It's like that's like a year wasted of growth just chopped right back out. That's what hurt the most. That's what I was trying to convey.
What that feels like is when you're playing like one of those old school like video games either on your Nintendo
and you forget to save.
Yeah, on your Nintendo, you over there, you make so much progress, and you forget to save your progress. You turn off your system and turn it right back on, and you're back like 3-4 missions ago. That's what this felt like.
Yes, that's exactly what
I felt that pain. He forgot. So basically, Drew Gulak just forgot to save his files. Like he forgot to save his files before he turned off his Game Boy. That's what it was. Oh man. Jeez, well, in this case, I guess it would be Vince McMahon. He forgot to turn off his game. He forgot to save his Game Boy. Jeez. Oh
my gosh. Anyways, Braun Strowman ended up beating up all three of the guys. Gulak was able to yeet his way out the ring.
He said yeet.
Gulak got out of there with minimum punishment while the B team took the bulk of it. And it really feels like we're going to get locker room losers taking on Braun Strowman, and these guys are just going to be gluttons for punishment. I mean, I will put money on it. That's exactly where this is going. Where I would have lost money is this whole Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan angle. This hurts. Okay, this hurts, man.
Wait, hold up. You actually skipped a whole setup because it was a new. Wait, actually, no, not a whole setup. I thought you skipped the entire tag team title match, but it was just New Day doing their whole
they got
sting.
introduced to the tag match, and then we got this segment, and then we got to the match. So I'm skipping the whole backstage segment of Big E throwing shade at the New England Patriots because they were in Philly. All right, I'm not talking about that right now.
Aren't you a Patriots fan too? Is that what you did it?
I'm not shining any light on this, my friend. Okay, listen now. Yes, I'm a Pats
you were
fan.
saying Sammy and Nakamura find Bryan backstage and they want an answer, yes or no.
Yeah, man. They were just like, look, given everything that's going on, you need to answer us tonight. Bryan finally, speaks up. He actually has, he has something to say finally. And he says the obvious, where were you when the Fiend attacked me last week? You ran off. Zayn gives the simple, cowardly, BS, unbelievable answer. I thought you were with me. Whatever, comical stuff.
I thought it was hilarious. That was actually the funniest Sami Zayn stuff. See, here's the thing. I've been very critical of Sami Zayn ever since he turned heel and paired up with Nakamura. I haven't been for it, but he was pretty good. That was some good comedic timing by him. Like he was like, "Oh, I thought you were right behind me. I was actually on my way to run. I was running to go get Cesaro and Nakamura to help us out." Like legit, I liked it. So like, it's a little cheesy. It's like stereotypical of a weasel heel to say, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. It worked for me. It popped. It popped me.
I kind of wish he'd have been truthful. That would have been me. I'd have been like, "You kidding me? I got the hell out of there. The Fiend was there.
Yeah.
I was sitting there."
He's like, listen, man. Do you see me wrestling matches right now? Like, no. You think I'm gonna stand a chance against the Fiend, our current Universal
don't blame me for
Champion?
getting taken out. I was
like,
the
look,
smart one. You wasn't.
We can help you because we'll have numbers. I can't help you by myself. Yeah, right. Actually, you have a good point, Seb, man. That would have been good. But no, what breaks my heart, man, is Daniel Bryan turns down the offer. He confirms that he is turning down the offer to join up with Sami Zayn's faction, which it was kind of cooling. The angle was. It would have been hottest had Daniel Bryan joined immediately. Given the couple weeks or the month or so that's taken place, Zayn's faction has come across more cheesy and comical, whereas had Bryan got in it right away, they could have been a destructive force. Like they could have really run roughshod over SmackDown. But they just went in the other angle, and it is what it is. But Bryan turns it down. Ultimately, I don't really remember anything that happened after that because that was the moment that my heart just tore in half. I was like, damn it, I really wanted him, dude, to join up with Zayn, Nakamura, and Cesaro. That's a hell of a faction right there. But it's weird because the faction seems really oddly and unjustly weak as just Zayn, Nakamura, and Cesaro.
But it looks like they might be strong because, like you were saying, he turned down the offer to join Sami Zayn, and he was Daniel, that is, and he said that, oh, you know who'd be perfect? Braun Strowman. And then he's like, Braun, he's just strong and big. We're intellectuals, we're artists. And then he did the whole thing where he was right behind them, and he's like, oh, you know what?
Zayn's reaction was so good when he turned around. Oh, where's the gift? Go ahead.
What I loved about that was that Sami Zayn was reacting the way he should. But did you notice how Nakamura didn't flinch, didn't blink? He was staring down Braun Strowman and mean mugging him. So, maybe Nakamura is going to be the serious one, but the comedical, funny heel guy is going to be Sami. And it's a combination that's actually worked in the past for Nakamura because he did start the Chaos faction over in New Japan, and he had a comedic heel partner or stablemate in Toru Yano. So Sami Zayn's kind of filling that same role, and he has now Cesaro in there. So as long as Nakamura keeps adding people, I'm all for it. What I'm not all for is what it looks like it's going to be Braun versus Nakamura after Survivor Series. And what really scares me is that Nakamura might lose that title to Braun Strowman.
No.
Given,
no.
dude, he just lost to Tyson Fury. WWE's the kind of people are like, oh, we'll give if you lose to Tyson Fury, we'll give you the IC title.
So who all is in the triple threat right now between for the mid card?
No. I meant like Braun's going to take the IC title after Survivor Series.
Yeah. Okay, so hear me out, man. Hear me out.
Okay.
Right now you have Nakamura, Roderick Strong, and AJ Styles, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a dream match, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that like perfect match? Well,
yeah.
WWE doesn't do that, bro. Miz is going to win that belt next week. You heard it here first, okay, folks?
Okay. Get out.
Miz is getting his Intercontinental Championship back next week on SmackDown, folks. Nakamura ain't even making it to Survivor Series.
I remember how Kyle was so with the Miz winning in that match not long ago.
He's gonna win it next week, okay? I'll put money on it. $5, all right?
They've already built this match a lot.
Okay, you know what? I'll take those $5 right now. Cash App, please.
Yeah, they took. Hey, Cash App, shout out. They took. We had the tag team match set up, NXT versus NXT when we had Revival. Oh God, who's the Raw champs right now? Jesus, why am I forgetting this?
Viking Raiders
taking on Undisputed Era. Damn, I was really looking for that. Was literally a NXT triple threat match right there, and WWE was like, "Nope, we got to get some WWE guys in there." So New Day's interjected. Same thing's gonna happen here. Nakamura's NXT. AJ Styles. AJ's New Japan though. Okay, listen, man, he's New Japan. All right, and then you got Roderick Strong. So you don't have any WWE homegrown guys.
The thing with that mid card title triple threat is that they all have some kind. ROH plays a big role there for AJ Styles and Roderick Strong, and Nakamura. Even though he's New Japan, he wrestled a lot in Ring of Honor. So all three of those men have history with each other, either crossing paths in New Japan or in Ring of Honor.
Man, Miz is getting
that title. They've already been advertising that match a lot. If you pay attention.
No, dude, that's like one of the most hype matches. You can't do that. If you do, the only reason I feel like they changed the New Day in for the Revival is one of two things. Either they didn't want all three heels because like Viking Raiders are kind of all. Well, actually, no. Actually,
they're not heels, man. Yeah, they're not heels.
Okay, no, okay. Maybe it's just one of those things where like they felt like they were.
Dude, justice for Kofi is what that is. That is justice for Kofi. Yeah, no, they had to get a belt back on Kofi because they did him dirty. Let's not sugarcoat it, man. I'm not over it. I don't know if you guys are over it yet. I'm not over it.
I'm not
man.
happy with the end results. So you're right. That's actually where I was kind of gonna go with it. It was like the Revival. They're probably out the door, so they don't want to give him a high profile match. And
the Revival's trolling us. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it no more. The Revival are doing, dude, they pay so much homage to Randy Orton. I feel like they will follow Randy Orton till the end of the earth now. I mean, they're
on separate brands though.
I don't care. Like, they strike me as if Randy Orton was to all of a sudden just break in half and become a tag team, he becomes the Revival. Like, that's, I never thought of it like that until recently. So now I'm convinced, had Revival not had that, 2-week faction with Randy Orton, I would believe they're leaving the company. But now I fully believe that they're not, man. I feel like they ain't going nowhere, dude.
I mean,
I hope I'm wrong.
Speaking of the Revival, why don't we just jump right into the tag match with New Day? Because, I mean, other than, the big, trust fall dive that Kofi did, it was no too many big spots, but it was a really solid match from start to finish. And it's not a surprise. These two teams are some of the best tag teams in all of wrestling, not just WWE. And they're gonna even if given 5 minutes, they're gonna give you some of the best 5 minutes you can see in tag team wrestling.
Yeah, they know how to build an ending. is what it is.
Yeah,
they
that
really
ending
know
was
how to build
amazing.
an ending. They could give you a snore fest for like 10, 15 minutes, and then that last 3 minutes of the match, you are like on the edge of your damn seat. Like they just know how to turn it on, and they know how to like crescendo and everything. Seb, what'd you think, man? What'd you think about how this all played out?
Just to counter that, I've never seen New Day have a snooze fest. I'm just saying.
Hell, you're right about that. You are right. They're
I think
serviceable.
Kyle meant more of a hypothetical situation. In a more of a hypothetical.
But man, this match is very fun. I love good tag team wrestling, and I mean, and you said playing homage to Randy Orton. Dash Wilder hit a beautiful scoop power slam when Kofi leaped for a tag. I popped for that. Dash selling Big E's weight when he had him in the electric chair position.
Yes, that was so awesome, man.
Dash and Big E kind of was throwing punches, kind of reversing, ended with a DDT, kind of paying homage to Orton Anderson at the same time. The Shatter Machine.
Yeah, they hit Big E with the Shatter Machine, and
Yeah.
Kofi came out of nowhere after being rammed into the ring post to break up that pin.
He ate that post too.
Dude, that looked painful. Like, that looked bad.
And I love NXT, but I've always said in their big tag team matches on takeovers and stuff, they always have that one spot where the pile kind of breaks up the pin, but it's always that same repetitive thing where they're trying to hold him back, and then he just comes through. But this was really unique. Kofi just came off the top with a crossbody.
Well, he came out of frame. He was out of frame.
Yeah.
All you
out of nowhere.
you saw the pin, and I can't remember if it was Dash or Dawson, whoever had the pin, but the other guy was standing guard. Like, so it seemed like that classic whole, you pin him while I protect you. And then, Kofi came out of frame, like off the top rope. And so you really didn't see it coming. I was convinced that Revival were getting their win back, man. I don't know why. I really was convinced that it was going to be a 1 week reign.
It'd be, how funny would it be for WWE to give the tag titles to New Day, have everybody throw a fit about them changing the match last minute, and then change the match last minute, like from 1 week to the other, just to troll people.
So
I think that'd be hilarious if they just did it to troll.
I think
But then
if I justify it, like how I was justifying it was they just did a title change because they were in the UK, and that was going to become a tradition. Was when WWE goes overseas, like, you're more likely to see some form of a title change. AJ Styles was the first to really get the ball rolling whenever he pinned Sebastian's boy. What's his name?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Yeah, sorry, Sebastian.
The Maharaja.
Yeah, man. But
I
still.
was so happy. Like, I saw the spoiler pop up on my phone that day. I was so happy. Oh my.
Oh, man. No, Jinder lost that match.
Exactly. That was the worst title reign in history.
No. There's been plenty worse.
That was,
We had Goldberg as a champ. Okay, come on now. Like,
at least we had a bounty on Goldberg's head. Jinder kind of ruined Shinsuke's Nakamura's momentum starting out.
oh Jesus, he did that. He did that whole like racist.
Pajambi prison match. Yeah, with Great Khali. It was.
Well, no, where he was mocking Nakamura's facial expressions, and you had the crowd going like, "That's too far."
Then he had the Pajambi prison with Randy, and Great Khali comes for one night only, just to ruin this match.
Great Khali totally stole Jinder Mahal's shine that night. I remember Great Khali had the belt. It felt like if my memory is totally skewing it. But like my memory is like the Great Khali was like raising it too high for the Jinder Mahal to get it back. It kind of like it was Khali's belt for like all of 5 minutes.
It was a terrible.
What a legendary reign!
Makes me want to throw up. I think about it. What's the time?
Oh my God!
Oh man!
What does not want to make you throw up was the appearance of the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So we get a non-finish. Undisputed Era come out. They attack New Day so New Day technically wins via DQ. They end up beating down almost everybody, I believe.
No, yeah. So it was, I think it was Adam Cole that pulled out Kofi, and I think it was Roderick Strong with him that attacked New Day. Then on the other side of the ring, it was Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish attacking Revival, and they laid them out. So they laid both of them out. It wasn't until the rest of the SmackDown locker room came out to make the save that the Undisputed Era bolted. But it was legit just them taking out two of SmackDown's best tag teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they got ran off by the locker room, and the invasion angles continue. They haven't been able to capture the gold since, or the, kind of like the hype since the roster was stranded overseas. Let's just say that.
And I think a lot of that to do is, with the women's, you got Bailey going over and stuff, but as far as the men's stuff go, you don't have the Roman Reigns interacting with this guy, Daniel Bryan. Just to name a few, you have Apollo Crews, Heavy Machinery, and a Lucha House Party coming out on every one of them.
Yeah.
So,
But what that did lead to was Heavy Machinery apparently were so amped up and like mad about the situation that they requested a match and got two local jobbers to squash.
yeah,
right
I
after
got those
that.
jobbers, brother.
Yo, so I swear I recognize one of them. I can't remember if it was Kevin Tibb or Kip Stevens. One of them looks super familiar. The guy who kind of looked like a knockoff Lori Blake, if you're a Wrestle Talk fan, or or a Drew Gulak for a more immediate comparison. They definitely looked. I don't know where I recognize him from. I don't know if he looked like he was the therapist. I swear, one of these guys has been repeatedly used on WWE programming. We'll have to go back, man, do analysis.
Maybe something for you to do. I don't care that much about local choppers that WWE trots out.
I need to know, man. I need to know. All right, listen. Oh, man. Yeah, Heavy Machinery destroyed these fellas, though. They had a weird little thing where after they hit the compactor, you had Otis was the legal man, and Tucky had to let him know. Tucky was like, "No, you pin him," and Otis kind of did a running splash for the pin. It was pretty comical, actually. Oh man. What happened after the squash match? We had the Bailey stuff.
We had the Bailey attacking the entire women's division that isn't on SmackDown recap. Basically, her attacking Shayna on Raw and then laying out the entire NXT's locker room on NXT this Wednesday. Which gotta say, man, that was the coolest thing ever because they'd set up it was kind of like a Scooby-Doo mystery, who done it, and everybody was thinking it was either Raw or SmackDown. That's what everybody was saying. A lot of people were thinking it was Dakota Kai. Bailey made her presence known, so she's actually been her and I think Undisputed Era have been and Shayna Baszler have been the people that have been the most active in terms of going and interfering and attacking other shows.
Okay, Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say that it was just her and Sasha doing an interview with Kayla right after the recap.
I was going to take a moment from doing our standard play-by-play stuff. Can we take a moment to appreciate how far Bayley's come on the main roster? She was such a big deal in NXT. She had such a NXT vibe, and she was such a mainstay in the development of the women's division in NXT, and then the women's evolution overall. But she was the last. She was the last horsewoman to make it to main roster, and they did not know what to do with her, and she never captured that hype that she had. And now it feels like she's been on main roster forever, but only now does it really feel like, in my opinion, she's capturing the greatness that she had in NXT. But what's so funny about this is her character is the complete opposite of who she was in NXT. And it took going the complete opposite route to show just the level of talent she is. It's crazy to me. Just like, I think that's so captivating just in a I don't know, like in a shower thought or whatever it is. You'd have
The thing I could add to that, Kyle, is that the difference of why I feel like the babyface version of Bayley didn't like quite resonate like globally on the main rosters it did in NXT is because they saw her come in and just be kind of like an enhancement talent, then work her way up into like going through a feud and like working her way up.
But that's the thing, she wasn't. Struggle. They put the belt on her immediately.
Exactly.
Like instead of her chasing it, she had that belt within like a month or two.
And that was one of my biggest issues because when she debuted on Raw, she won the title on a random Raw, and then she went into WrestleMania as champion. It should have been her chasing the title, and then Sasha and Nia Jax, which were also in the match, those being obstacles for her to try to get the title, and she finally beats Charlotte and wins the title at WrestleMania. It would have been a bigger moment for her as opposed to just getting the title and then she's already kind of like elevated to this level because like as much as people don't like to admit it, there are a lot of people that will sit there and will just like criticize and like talk bad about a wrestler just because they're given a certain level of success at an early stage of their career. And I feel like a lot of people got that backlash from Bayley. You don't see the character development and growth. You don't know who Bayley, the character and the person is. Watching her like grow in NXT on the main roster, if you're just a casual fan, you're like, oh, she just seems like a lame baby face, whatever. I don't really care about her because you didn't see the story. You didn't see the character development. Right. You didn't see what made Bayley. I think that's the issue, and that's why when she turned on the fans, it made perfect sense. That's why her doing what she's doing now is resonating more with the casual audience because they've seen her struggle being a baby face, and now it makes perfect sense for her to turn heel and turn on the fans.
I wonder how big, like, I wonder how many people look up to her in NXT. Like, I wonder if she's like, you know, because you got Sasha and you got Charlotte and everything, but Bayley seems like the journey woman of them. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder,
kind of like what Roman Reigns serves right now to the main roster, or what John Cena or like a Shawn Michaels was like those big name players that like other people look to for advice or like just critique. I think she does have that cachet behind the scenes.
I bet she does, man. I bet she does. Like I got so much respect for Bayley, even though she's not particularly like my cup of tea. Like just her story in general just resonates so well. I'd love to see like a biopic. I don't know, maybe like do like a biopic of her or something. I bet that'd be pretty cool.
I think there might be something out there. Like you really gotta like search WWE's YouTube or the networks to find some stuff. But I'm sure there's stuff out there.
Yeah. Anyways.
But yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Back into SmackDown.
Bayley has a match slated with Nikki Cross. Sebastian, what you think of the match? Like, are you even there?
Well, it lasted 0 seconds.
Yep.
So it was good, I guess. I mean, it wasn't bad. Nothing to complain about.
No,
oh my gosh.
Man.
So basically, yeah. So Nikki Cross, had she beaten Bayley, she would have earned the spot on the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team. But the match never happened because Bayley goes and charges Nikki. Nikki reverses, tosses Bayley to the outside. It's like a basement drop kick to Bayley. She's on the outside. Bayley gets the upper hand, tosses Nikki Cross into the steel steps. Match still hasn't started, by the way. Shayna Baszler comes out through the crowd once again. Bayley notices it, gets inside the ring, and tries to flee. And she goes through the other side of the crowd, but right behind her are the 4 NXT women that she decided to attack this past Wednesday, getting her revenge.
Dude, the look on her face too, man. Oh my gosh, she looked at them and she's like,
"It wasn't the 4 she attacked."
You got what? You got Mia.
It wasn't Mia and Dakota Kai wasn't attacked, was it? It was.
No, okay, but I'm just painting the picture, Sebastian.
Yeah,
I'm just painting the picture.
She was just on their show running roughshod, okay? Look. Okay.
They're basically coming over here to cash those receipts, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And they kind of stop Bayley from fleeing, and Shayna was in the ring, kind of like goading Bailey. Okay, come on, it's either you go up against me right now, here and now, or you face against them. But Sasha, her best friend, had her back. She came in and jumped Shayna from behind, and then I think from there they tossed Bailey over the top barricade. They try to like jump on Sasha, but then the rest of the SmackDown Women's Division comes out. Legit, I think the entire SmackDown Women's Division, minus Lacey Evans, was in that ring helping out, and it was kind of cool to actually see like the full, like almost full roster trying to see, but like the full women's roster battling it out.
When the draft happened, SmackDown really seemed like they were going to have a surging women's division. And it's only until you notice like all of them on screen that you're like, damn, you guys have such a deep roster that it's like, if you just had some more time for it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We do need, by the way, folks, I don't know how many of y'all listen to this, but I'm going to put it out there. Even if you got to clip this soundbite, we need an annual Evolution pay-per-view. Like, we need it. WWE has by far the deepest women's roster on the planet, I think. I think that's really one thing that WWE offers. You know, because they buy everybody. They buy everybody. But we do need a annual Evolution pay-per-view, and it sucks we're not getting it. But
and to add to that, Kyle, it's not just like WWE as a whole. If you want to dissect it, you can even like claim that's either SmackDown, Raw, or NXT individually have one of the better women's rosters out there, with only Impact Wrestling being like the lone like non-WWE show that can say that they have a better women's division. Even individually, the rosters are all loaded. And keep in mind that you have women like Ember Moon and Naomi currently out with it, and Nia Jax right now, and Mickey. You have Mickey James, Ruby Riott, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, and Naomi, all top big names that aren't on a specific brand. They haven't been drafted, and they're out with injury or personal reasons. And they also can bring back legends like a Bella Twins, a Trish Stratus, Lita, Michelle McCool, all the work. So they are loaded in terms of women talent.
Yeah, I mean, if that's one thing, it's weird because that's like one thing that WWE has always done right, but they never fully capitalized on. Like, that's crazy because they really have, like, their women's roster is arguably the more, if you were to average the level of talent out, they probably average at a higher rating than, say, the men's roster because they scoop up everybody, regardless, of now granted, we could sit here and go into how you would judge a wrestler and whatever. Just roll with me for a second. Their roster really does seem the deepest when you go on the average, but it's granted it's not as underutilized as, say, prior to the women's evolution. But man, like, that is just, you're missing it. You could almost do like how many Saudi pay-per-views are we getting a year?
I think we get like 2 Saudi shows a year.
Man, do 2 evolutions a year. Like, counter-program.
Yeah.
Counter-program the Saudi shows with the evolution. And let them go to battle. Let that be your own internal, like, Wednesday Night Wars, man. Like, let the women go straight fucking to war. Excuse my language. I don't mean to cuss on the stream, but I'm really passionate about this. I know, man. I know. Really? Who would have thought of that? Just let them.
On top of all that, it's like what's really been interesting about this whole Survivor Series is that it felt like here's just my big take on the whole thing. Like, the main event, we haven't talked about what's going to main event the show, but as of right now, I think it should be Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley. It's still one match within all of these, like the Survivor Series team matches. They don't even have a set team yet for like Raw and SmackDown, both men and women's side. The tag triple threat, not gonna do it. Mid-card title, not gonna do it. Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio. As much as I love Rey Mysterio and I think Brock Lesnar is solid, I don't think that should be an event. Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan, which, spoiler, gets confirmed for later. It gets confirmed for later. That's a big match. But here's the thing: if the theme of the night is brand supremacy, you have to have an NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown versus like a match, and I think that's the biggest match you should have, and I think that's perfect. It highlights the women. This entire build has been like really highlighted with Bayley and Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch just doing the most. It's felt like it's had the most heat.
Well, Baszler has been on every damn show. Baszler has showed up on every NXT, SmackDown, and Raw since the initial invasion after the Crown Jewel event. I don't think Baszler has missed a single taping.
She hasn't. And on top of that, Bayley this week went and on Raw and just attacked Becky Lynch. She went on NXT and destroyed the NXT Women's Division. The NXT Women's Division comes out and retaliates tonight. Like, one thing I was saying off screen was that it's just really cool to see in that 8-woman tag match that we got, which is what we failed to talk about just yet because we're just gushing about the women in general. But what was cool about that is that you have Team NXT, obviously, but on the other side, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, Carmella, and Sasha Banks all came up through NXT or made their name in NXT. And like even both women's champions on Raw and SmackDown came through NXT. It's just really cool to see like all of these people coming through NXT. It's kind of hard now because like back in the day when NXT started, obviously it wasn't the same case. But now it's kind of hard to point at a wrestler and not like and that wrestler hadn't gone through NXT in some way or form. Yeah, which is kind of cool.
No, it absolutely is. Early prediction, by the way, Dana Brooke is your next women's Money in the Bank winner. Calling it now. Like, Dana needs that win, man. But anyway,
if you want to bet on that, I'll be more than happy to take your money.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but Kyle, you're wrong.
Dude, I love Dana Brooke, man.
If you call it and Dana wins. If Dana wins and you call it, I will give you props, and we'll definitely bet you on that. But she has to be in the match. She has to be in the match. But we're not here to talk about Money in the Bank. We're talking about Survivor Series. The build-up is really good. This 8-woman tag match was really good. It was Nikki Cross that picked up the victory.
Hold on, big hole in this match. So you had Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, Rhea Ripley, and Dakota Kai. Because after they jumped Bayley, and Sasha came out.
Bayley teleports to the backstage or something.
Bayley and Shayna Baszler both teleport back. You had Nox, Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim get challenged by Sasha Banks, Nikki Cross, which that's the issue right there, Carmella, and Dana Brooke. Sasha Banks was just backstage with Bayley talking about how she just beat Nikki Cross, and granted, they didn't say there's any like really internal beef, but it's like, you just went from opponents to, okay, brand versus brand just made you a cohesive team. Like, there's no tension. Like, you just agreed to tag with each other all of a sudden, like, because like when you saw the SmackDown women in the ring talking trash to the NXT women who were ringside, Cross was right there. Like, they were all like hugging on each other and stuff. And it was like, I don't know, man. I was like,
did you notice how also during like when the SmackDown women came out to make the save, Fire and Desire and Tamina all came out, and then like to set up that match so there wouldn't be no confusion, they just slowly left the ring. But like those 4 women stayed in the ring. Those specific 4 women stayed in the ring. In my mind, the way I justify it in my mind is that Sasha didn't know who was behind her and just like, me and these 3 other women are going to beat you because SmackDown's better. And then turns around and you're like, wait, hold up, time out.
Hold on. Wait, you on the team? Out. Where'd everyone else go? Damn. Hey, no, come back. No, God. Okay, fine, whatever. We'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Damn it.
That's just I mean, if you really think about it, why would any 4 of the women be out there with Shayna Baszler?
Baszler's run roughshod. Like, why would any woman be out there with Baszler outside of the 4 horsewomen?
At the same time, if you do watch these stuff that they do for NXT, not just the regular shows, but the backstage stuff, the love for NXT and the people there is real. So I kind of give NXT a pass for that, just because it seems like their locker room is very prideful.
Because it's NXT and they're gonna have a War Games match, Sebastian, the night before. I give it 0 pass because how are you gonna come out there and save Shayna? The way I saw it, it wasn't they came out to help Shayna. It was more of them coming back and coming and giving payback to Bayley for what she did. That's how I felt. That's how I took it.
But if you see Johnny Gargano or Ciampa, like, just talk about their love they have for NXT. Like, they don't want to go to the main roster. This is their home.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I look at it. The love they got for that show is enough for just if somebody from another brand attach you, sure, work together. But on Wednesdays, you know, that's fine. Hey, Joe. But, I mean, the love for NXT, go back and watch Ciampa's YouTube stuff for when he got injured. They're a family. I mean, that's just how it is. They don't want to go to the main roster 90% of them. So,
yeah, man.
they want to show they're better. Like, when the club came to NXT, Ciampa came out and said, "Welcome to the main roster."
Yeah, that was a hot line right there. I'm not gonna lie.
For NXT, as far SmackDown versus Raw, I kind of don't believe that. But for NXT, that chip is very real on their show.
Could you imagine just being able to get the green light to deliver that line as an NXT guy? Because you know that's all they've ever heard while they're part of it. It's like, when are you going to go up to the main roster? When are you going to get moved up? When are you going to get promoted? You know, and it's like, and you secretly, you know, you've been kind of quietly like, no, this is the hottest thing. And then finally get the green light on national television. To just throw that shade.
I gotta give them a pass because when you're on your regular show in War Games, your goal is to beat Shayna for that title. But as far as Survivor Series go, you want to show NXT's number one.
War Games was the first pay-per-view to pull better numbers than the WWE pay-per-view to precede it. Yeah, War Games last year or the year before, I can't remember which one, but was the first one to outdraw Survivor Series.
And this is the first time NXT's involved, so you can't sit here and tell me that NXT does not want to prove they're better as far as head-to-head.
Oh, I think it's beyond that. I think it's beyond that. I think Vince is like, damn, okay, you guys have been beating us every time we go head-to-head since 2017. You know what? It's time that you guys get involved in our pay-per-views whenever we're like counter-programming each other.
Raw versus SmackDown, we've seen this stuff for 20 years. NXT's here to show they're ahead of them.
Yeah, that's man. We need to, for our 100th episode, we need to answer that question of is NXT the biggest brand out of SmackDown and Raw? And we need to have a debate about that. We don't need an answer quick now, but that needs to be a question of who is WWE's largest brand. And we need to talk about that in discussion. One
question that does need to be answered is Nikki Cross on Team SmackDown, given that she picked up the win for her team?
Thank you. I don't know. I don't know. I thought that was what I would assume. Yes.
They still will not call her finisher the Purge, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, they call it the neck breaker. She got the neck breaker on Tegan Nox.
Well, you know what? When she comes out and they show her a little name over there, don't say finisher, the Purge. Put neck breaker.
Well, you still have Michael Cole calling Shorty G Shorty Gable.
Well, Michael Cole needs to call it the Purge.
Yes. Anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the main event here, man. Obviously this shows right here. Listen, the women are the biggest talking point on SmackDown right now, and they deserve it, man. They deserve it for the moment. But let's go on to the main event. We have the Miz TV, featuring Daniel Bryan. With Firefly Funhouse kind of featuring in there too.
It's what you call it? Crossover show. There you go. It was a crossover between Firefly Funhouse and Miz TV.
Yeah. So before Bray makes his appearance, Miz was raising the question, who is Daniel Bryan? And that's actually a very reasonable question. Since Daniel Bryan has kind of dropped his heel persona, we don't really know his character or his motivation. And tonight, Bryan laid it out, and I'm cool with it. I'm really cool with it. It's He's passion mixed with mental instability is what they drove home with us. It's the mental instability that caused him to kill the Yes Movement. It's the mental instability that caused him to kick AJ Styles between the legs for the WWE Championship. You know, and that's kind of Daniel Bryan's thing is I am 100% passionate, but yet my mind, which still makes sense given the concussions and everything, like continuity here is so rich given
Can we take a break from that and just say that I think Daniel Bryan is one of the all-time greats right now? And like he's transcended being like an awesome wrestler, one of the top in-ring wrestlers, to being one of the all-time greats and being considered like to me, I think he's at that Shawn Michaels level. I think he's that great.
I don't know if you've been on the show with us, but we've literally, you know how we just went off about the women for like 20 minutes? Mm-hmm. We've done that multiple times with Daniel Bryan on the show. Like, we really have. We really have. Like, between him always having a understandable character to him being able to make anyone he shares the ring with look amazing, regardless of talent, to him gaining intrigue. I mean, he made us care about his feud with Big Cass, even for a blip, a blip.
I was invested in that.
Yeah, exactly. No offense to Big Cass, by the way. No offense to him, but yeah.
No, go ahead, take offense, Big Cass. I don't care. I don't really care if he takes offense to it. But like harping back to that, it's like you don't see too many people like that, other than like a Ric Flair, a Shawn Michaels, and Eddie Guerrero. It's like one of those people where I feel like they transcend a certain level, where they bring people up to a certain level, and they just like bring the best out of everyone they work with. I legit think he's one of the all-time greats. Like in terms of WWE history, in terms of all wrestling, I think he's one of the all-time greats.
I feel like once he retires, I don't feel like you could have so everyone always goes back to who's your Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? And I don't think people will really be so quick to include him while he's active. But once he retires, I feel like his name's going to pop up in a lot of people's Mount Rushmores. I don't know why that was so hard to say. But
it's all the alcohol, too much of the bubbly you consuming before the podcast is what's happening.
Listen. All right.
Happens when we drink tequila.
Tequila, like El Toro. Okay, listen, man. The lid of the Toro allows you to juice the lime. Okay. Anyways, we're not here to Jesus, y'all made me lose my train of thought. Damn it! Thanks a lot, you guys. Daniel Bryan's going to pop up in a lot of Mount Rushmore arguments later on after he retires. I believe that's the case. Mm-hmm. But speaking of retirement, that's exactly what The Miz thinks The Fiend...
Daniel?
The Fiend is going to do to Daniel Bryan. He believes that Daniel Bryan's washed up, that he just, he doesn't know where his character's going no more or where his motivation is, and he believes that Bray Wyatt's going to be the person to end Daniel Bryan. That's not the case, man. However, what I really want to know is, where do these guys go after their feud? You know what I mean? Is like where?
I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over, because what I've liked about Bray Wyatt's Fiend character is that his first opponent, Finn Balor, he beat him so bad that he changed him. He went to NXT and he became this new person. He felt he needed to be different. He feuded against Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins started doing stuff that normally he wouldn't be proud of. He went through great lengths to almost kill a man in Hell in a Cell. Now you take a mentally unstable, passionate human being like Daniel Bryan, who doesn't know who he is necessarily.
Yeah,
and then now you're gonna really spiral him. He could be either corrupted, or you can like really mess up Daniel Bryan, and he's gonna be like a shell of his former self. Like, that's the best thing about Bray Wyatt. I've always said this, and I've always gotten this from the Going in Raw guys, is that the thing with Bray Wyatt's character throughout the years, it should have been like you should be changed after feuding with Bray Wyatt. Even if Bray didn't win, he should change you in some kind of way or fashion, and he never did that. It was almost like You feuded with him. It happened for a good weekend. You never speak about it again, and you go on about the rest of your career. And now with this whole Fiend character, it's legit changing like the people he's feuding with. Granted, we've only had 2 people to like compare that to, and maybe I'm a little bit reaching with like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins here, but
No.
if
You're very justified. Like Finn
But
had to leave the main roster. Like Finn literally had to leave the main roster and turn heel. He hasn't been heel since he joined WWE.
no, he's never. That was actually his first run as a heel in WWE. The last time he was heel was in New Japan.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is literally you got a first out of WWE, Finn Balor, and now like you were saying with Seth Rollins, Seth's character has had to go through an overhaul as well. So I could see that. I could see that where Daniel Bryan's character is going to get a refresh. But it feels like that's where we're already at. But I don't know, man, because I do like the whole mentally unstable. Like, I mean, I guess really tonight's show justified where Daniel Bryan is at now. I guess really the overlooked thing is kind of what you're touching on is we don't know what Daniel Bryan's going to be like afterwards. And I think that
let me ask you guys both this, and you guys can both chime in whichever order you want, but isn't like Daniel Bryan like the perfect first like title feud for the Fiend, or is it just me?
I guess if you're not going for the obvious like almost a jobber title, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like what's going on over on because I hate to say it because it's gonna sound bad, but you got Brock and Rey Mysterio as Ray's first. Ray is Brock's first feud after him getting the belt, and Ray's gonna lose, but really it's like Ray's just there to pad up time. Yeah, with this,
he's more of a like if you go back and I think it was like 2003 or 2004 when Brock Lesnar had a random title match, a WWE title match against Bob Holly at Royal Rumble. So if
that wasn't too random. He did break.
He did break Hardcore's neck. Yeah,
that's true. But
thank you, Seb, for remembering that.
But yeah, speaking of Seb, like, how about you, dude? Like, is it like maybe I'm just gassing up Daniel Bryan? I'm drinking too much of like that environmental friendly Kool-Aid that he's giving me, but I think he's like the perfect first opponent, first feud for the Fiend. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and like you pointed on earlier, the Fiend's victims have continued like a story arc. Daniel was obviously already on one. After this might be what finally pushes him to join a Sami Zayn faction.
Oh my God, I know, man. What would?
So, yeah, I think these characters that you can bring up some storylines for stuff after just to show the effect of the Fiend. I think it's perfect.
Not only that, but what I've liked, especially like I kind of like saw it like when the Fiend was slowly making the rounds of who he was attacking, but he really emphasized it in his promo tonight. Bray Wyatt did, is that the Fiend remembers. So like he's basically looks like the Fiend's targets are really people that have done Bray Wyatt wrong in the past in some way, shape, or form. Because he's attacked Braun Strowman, he's attacked Kane, he's attacked Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and now Daniel Bryan. And he said like, "Do you remember what you did, Daniel? Do you remember?" Like alluding to him joining the Wyatt family and then turning on him in that cage match.
You know what would be the best? Oh, the most vindicating feud that the Fiend gets in and wins. Oh, and there's so many creative ways. Oh, this will never happen, but it's perfect. Vince, thank you. You just...
If you're going where I think you're going, I would freaking love it.
Dude, he needs to destroy John Cena. Like,
yes,
he needs to destroy John Cena. Like, he needs to show up on Jimmy
like
Fallon. Dude, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon out of nowhere on NBC or whatever freaking network that's on. And he needs to destroy. After this, I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan. I know we're kind of overlooking your match, but it's like, yo, that would be so good. Oh, to get that WrestleMania rematch back and make it at WrestleMania. Oh my
Book
god.
it. Just book it. Just book it
man.
already.
Just get that. Just get like the Fiend get his win back against John Cena at WrestleMania. At that point, he could lose it. At that point, it's done. The run is done. That is the pinnacle of the Fiend run right there. I mean, unless you think of something else, I mean, nothing would be as vindicating. Not
Angel Garza takes the Universal title from the Fiend and conquers Bray Wyatt. There we go. Angel Garza, I'm riding that bandwagon until I'm gonna ride it to the ground, man. No, but in all seriousness, I think he does need to get that win over John Cena again. I don't know who takes the title off of him necessarily. It's interesting to see, but they can play off a bunch of different things here.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. Legit. I'm super geeked out. It's not just because I'm gonna be there for the weekend, but I'm super geeked for both War Games and Survivor Series. I think the sprinkle of NXT added to Survivor Series has really made that pay-per-view feel like a big four, which it has in the last couple of years.
Gives it a refresh. You know what I mean? It does. It gives it a refresh.
Last year I felt like it was they had a very good card last year.
Survivor Series. Which one was last year's?
You had Brock
Survivor
versus-
Series one was the one where SmackDown got destroyed.
Like the clean
Well,
sweep.
that was last year, but as far as the card, it had a really good card last year.
The last memorable Survivor Series for me was, I think it was 16 when Goldberg squashed Brock. That's the last one that really stuck out for me. To be fair with you,
was that the same one where Sting debuted?
I can't.
Or was
remember.
that the year before?
I can't remember. I just remember Goldberg squashing Brock, and that was when I went. I was literally going to my non-wrestling friends and dude, you got to watch this match. It's 2 minutes long. Just watch this, And
Last year there was only one bad match, and that was the Bar versus AOP. That was when Drake Maverick beat himself, but all the other matches.
But see, here's the thing, Sebastian. When you compare this Survivor Series with the Survivor Series from last year and the year before, this one
actually looks like it's gonna be good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a cheap shot, man. I'm sorry. That was a cheap shot.
No, last year did too. Going in, you had Brock versus Bryan. You had Becky breaking her nose. Had Charlotte versus Rousey. You had
Dude, how do you
Shinsuke
remember
versus
things
Rollins.
so well?
You had Shinsuke versus Rollins. I mean, there was so much.
Oh my god!
That had the most hype. That whole Becky Lynch invasion had the most hype. Yes, it did.
That is true.
But
for me,
But see that started off as AJ versus Brock until Bryan won the title a week before before Survivor Series. So and turned heel all.
And then it was heel Bryan and heel Lesnar, and that was a weird.
The match.
It was
the match
cool.
in general was amazing, but
that was uncomfortable. No, that was amazing. Maybe uncomfortable. Yes, Bryan got dropped on his head so many times, and then and he had to sell it. Oh my god! I remember watching that and just being dude, oh, please stop. Not that it was bad. I was just Bryan just came back and you're feeding him to Lesnar. Oh.
No, I totally get it. I had the same feeling watching that match. It was kind of hard to watch at certain points.
And Bryan sold that far away look, the 1,000-yard stare. I'm sorry, Vince. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. I apologize.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No, because you're right. That's what makes Daniel Bryan so great. Is that especially after he came back from his concussion injury and then came back out of retirement, he's been really good of holding the neck, holding the back of his head, and really making you concerned for his well-being.
Dude, so bad. Oh my god,
so good. And I hate him for that because I love that he's able to suspend my disbelief, but I hate that he's able to make me go through the emotions of watching his matches. But going back to this Survivor Series, though, the thing that I think that this one has over it is that if the pay-per-view as a whole, not just a single match or two matches or a single segment, the entire pay-per-view as a whole has a lot of heat behind it and a lot of momentum behind it. This feels like one of the biggest Survivor Series that we've had in a long, long time, and not just because something happened at the show. It's because of the build-up that they've had. There's been a couple hits or misses. There have been low lights in terms of the build-up, but overall it's just been very good. And if you look at the card from top to bottom, I don't think there's a single match that you're going to sit there and be that's my piss break match. Because all of them you could be because all of them you're even though Ray versus Brock, you know who's going to win that. you know Ray and Brock are going to have a good match. You
I'm
look at
kinda
Bray Wyatt
down.
versus The Fiend, you know that's going to be a good match. The triple threat, like mid-card title match, the women's title match. I don't know what Adam Cole's even going to be doing at the show, and he has to be on the show.
He'll be
And
on
then
2 minutes.
probably, and then that's another thing. We don't know the full like members of Team NXT and for like the men's, and then in terms of the women, we don't know who's on Team Raw and Teams NXT. There's just
I'm
so
per-
many matches.
I'm personally kind of dreading the 5-on-5-on-5 matches. I feel like those are going to be kind of.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
WWE sticking to tradition for the sake of sticking to tradition.
Yeah, I'm kind
Yeah.
of dreading those. I just feel like they're going to be kind of messy.
Those ones you can take as piss breaks.
So
I mean,
so
I think they'll be good though, just from the people it's in.
I have
especially
two
the men.
theories. I have two theories on how the matches can go. Either they do the standard WWE thing where two people are in there and then they tag in and out, and then like an opponent team can like do a blind tag and tag in, or it's a triple threat, right? So you're doing a triple threat.
Vince, that would be
Vince
cool.
wanted that.
That
Okay,
would be
okay.
cool, man. Come on
So-
now. That's not
so
happening.
So listen here. So there's like the four teammates on the outside, and there's a triple threat going on in the ring. When someone gets pinned, that doesn't mean they win the match. So that member from that team gets eliminated, right? So now another member of that team has to join in, and you keep doing that until you're down to two teams.
This
and
isn't a
eventually
fantasy booking show, man. We don't
You know what,
let me
fantasy
have
book.
Let me. Okay, you know what? You're talking about bets. You're talking about bets and cash app here, Kyle. If that happens, you owe me $5, man, because that's a great concept, right?
It is
there.
a very good concept. Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
But it's probably just going to end up being the same thing, but
It
a
is.
singles with two people in there.
no,
we'll see.
you know
I'm just glad they didn't do
exactly. That's what it is.
I'm just glad that it's only a women's and a men's Survivor Series triple threat elimination tag team whatever match, and not they decided to throw in a bunch of tag teams in there like last year.
Not to try and
Because that
end,
would.
not to try and end our show on a downer, but what if NXT just gets fucking clean sweeped? Just like,
Well, I said
oh,
this 2
man.
weeks ago. Storyline. I mean, they have an outs. They
have
90%
the
of it's
War
gonna be going
Games
through
pay
War
per view.
Game.
Yeah.
And 24 hours later.
And we've
I mean,
seen
think about like,
we're coming off a year of WWE doing the SmackDown clean sweep. You know,
I don't know. I
man.
think the whole purpose of including NXT in terms of Survivor Series is to elevate them to the same cachet of Raw and SmackDown, so they can properly compete with AEW. And if they
hope
go
you're
in
right.
there and lose, and if they go in there and it's a clean sweep by NXT by main roster to NXT, and they lose every single match, they have to come back to the following NXT. People are going to be like, "Why should we care about NXT? Main roster clearly doesn't. We're just going to go watch AEW. They probably have the better roster anyway."
We
But
made this
now they're the
argument
one-
last year about SmackDown. We made the same argument last year about SmackDown.
Yeah, but there
man.
wasn't another brand at that point, Kyle. There wasn't another company out there.
Oh, man.
SmackDown didn't, have War Games in that point. Like, I understand what you're saying. But, like, if Shayna Baszler comes in here all bandaged up from head to toe from a War Games match and has a solid 20-25 minute effort, but doesn't get pinned and Bayley gets pinned, I mean, that's not a knock on Shayna Baszler in NXT. I mean,
Okay,
sometimes
but
it's
what
a little
about?
more-
So, like, but you're assuming that every member from like those NXT teams, either in the triple threats or in the Survivor Series teams, they're all going to be taking part of the War Games matches. That might not be the case. You might have
Well,
a fresh Pete Dunne in
we-
there. Like,
We know all the champions will, and I'm sure Adam Cole
Okay, well,
will be part of it.
Finn
I'm
has
sure,
to be on the men's Survivor Series team, right? He has to be, right?
Maybe, yeah, probably.
No, there's no probably. He's like one of the biggest names there. How does he
Finn's
not on
too
the men's
cool
Survivor
to
Series?
be bothered with Survivor Series.
Pish
Yeah, I mean-
posh. Pish posh.
Well, to be fair on that, everybody else on NXT's doing this horror, NXT, while fans on here saying everybody in the locker room is trash.
Yeah, that is
So-
true. That is true. His character is completely counterproductive to the whole like.
Yeah, so I could see Finn not want to take part storyline wise. Like, he doesn't care about that locker room.
Damn, this is such a good
guess.
debate, man. This is really good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really liking this.
Maybe
like,
it's
champ-
something we can pick up on our Survivor Series prediction episode.
Yeah, I think
But,
that's
like,
where this is
for
going to
the
have to
man-
go.
For the men's, though, Cole's going to be on the team, I would say. Ciampa will. I would say Keith Lee will.
Yeah.
I mean,
Keith
there's
Lee
3 out of 5.
and Dijak.
And the rest
Dijak's not on it.
Yeah, Dijak's
Keith Lee. No. Keith Lee. Yes.
Oh no, Dijak's in
Adam
the
Cole,
War Games. I'm getting War Games teams and Survivor Series teams confused with each other.
You need a nap. You need a nap. I think we should wrap up the show before it spirals out of control.
Hey now, listen, man, listen. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining our show tonight. By the way, if you missed it, during Miz TV, we did get set up that Daniel Bryan is facing The Fiend in the main event of Survivor Series for the Universal Championship. I want to call it the WWE Championship because I'm so used to it being on SmackDown. But no, it's the Universal Championship at Survivor Series. It probably will be the main event, the last match to go up.
Women's triple threat.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You guys join us. Oh God, I want to say Raw is our next episode. We might have something up, but just next week's gonna be very busy. We got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, but we also have our prediction episodes. And don't forget, we have our 100th episode of the Smack Raw podcast. Holy cow, man! I can't believe we've hit it.
And a
Not only
throwback.
that, we got a throwback.
We have a throwback. Jesus, man, we got so much recording to do. Oh my God. Anyways, until the next time, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you later.
Later, guys.
See ya.